becoming the first Indian American woman to be nominated as a vice presidential candidate in America. In a recent event, the Democratic vice presidential nominee took a trip down memory lane, recalling her mother's journey from India to America. Now, her mother, Shyamala Gopalan, was born in Chennai and immigrated to America to study at UC Berkeley. The Indian origin senator also talked about her trips to India and her mother's attempts to instill a love of good idli in her.
I stand before you as the first candidate for Vice President of the United States of South Asian descent. When my mother, Shyamala, stepped off the plane in California at 19 years old, she didn't have much in the way of belongings, but she carried with her lessons from back home. Growing up, my mother would take my sister, Maya, and me back to what was then called Madras, because she wanted us to understand where she had come from and where we had ancestry.
Sir, do you believe that Vice President Kamala Harris is only on the ticket because she is a black woman?
Well, I can say no, I think it's maybe a little bit different. So I've known her a long time indirectly, not directly very much. And she was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She is always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't.
What's up, everybody? You watching On Air with Nick Java podcast. Hope you guys having a great day today. Today, we are looking into the Janet Jackson versus Kamala Harris beef that is going on right now on the internet. And the first videos we'll roll is a lot of left commentators, such as Roland Martin, different commentators, such as Joy Reid. You know, they're really upset that Janet Jackson would question Kamala Harris's ethnicity. Let's roll some of those tapes.
For her to just be drifting through the world and not have any sort of idea of what's happening with this situation, but then offer an opinion that is completely uneducated,
right,
and completely wrong, and say that she hasn't watched the news in a couple of days, as if Kamala Harris could be black on Monday or white on Monday, or Indian on Monday, and then black on Thursday or Friday. It's weird.
Julian, go.
Oh, well, I hate to quote Laura Ingraham, who told some brothers to shut up and dribble, but I would tell Janet Jackson, shut up and sing, girl. That you okay at that. You ain't that good at that either, but you're okay at that. You can sing. But do not get yourself involved in politics, because you don't know what you are talking about. And like you said, she lived in California. She knew the sister was black. She knew she was the attorney general. I just want to know who's paying her bills, because that's what it boils down to. You show yourself up to be a total jackass. What is wrong with you? And why are you doing this now? And there are going to be some young people and some stupid people who are going to emulate you, and you need to dial it back. You just need to dial it back. People have admired you for years.
And again, listen, if you don't know, just say you don't know and keep it moving, Congo. But to also make this comment, get all this blowback, and then you ain't sat here and so your manager issues an apology, then y'all walk the apology back. So y'all want the lie to still sit out there? That's dumb. And all y'all other people, I see some of y'all fools talking about FBA and all that, and talking about, oh, Janet's the icon, Roland Martin, you shilling. All y'all can kiss my entire...
All right, guys, so as you can see, there's a lot of people on the left that are not enjoying this take from Janet Jackson regarding Kamala Harris's ethnicity. You know, it's neither here or there for me, but it is worth covering because it is in the actual news and media at the moment, and it's a big story. But we got to looking at it, and I'm like, there's got to be something behind this, just the way that it was approached. So I did find something back when Kamala Harris was the attorney general in California. She actually made some comments regarding Michael Jackson.
What?
during his trial, which could be very well viewed as very negative. I think this is where this actually stems from. There's probably a lot of bad blood between Kamala Harris and the Jackson family. So we did find this clip here. What? So we'll roll this for you guys next. And oddly enough, guess who takes up for Michael Jackson?
Donald Trump.
That's insane that this goes back that far to 2005. Let's roll the tape.
And cases like this can depend on the testimony of the child accuser.
In general, the child will be able to recall and recollect with some detail the incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is available.
Jackson gave a wave when he was released after booking. He's scheduled for arraignment in January.
Michael's been a long-time resident of Trump Tower, and last night the Donald strongly reiterated his defense of Jackson with Larry King by going after the accuser's mother.
She's had plenty of experience at going after people, and she goes after them viciously and violently, and I saw a story and I read another story about some of the things she's done, and I don't believe it.
But you know what it's like when an indictment comes down.
It's tough.
It's presumption.
It's tough. It's tough to win, but I have a feeling he's going to win, Larry. The interesting thing is I've known Michael from many different standpoints, and Michael would spend a lot of time with my kids. I have beautiful kids, and at the time, like at Mar-a-Lago, and even in Trump Tower, the kids were very young. Michael would come, play with the kids. He just loved children. He was not a child molester, and I am certain of that. He loved children. He'd play with my son Eric and my son Donald, and he'd just play with them forever. He loved children, but he was not a child molester. And, you know, that whole final saga of Neverland and the police and what they did was, I think, a very, very bad part of Michael's life.
There you go, guys. Looks like Janet Jackson actually harbors some ill feelings towards Kamala Harris during her early days of being Attorney General in California and making comments that could be slanted against Michael Jackson during a very, low point in his life, dark point in his life. So you have Trump on the other end, who was actually taking up for Michael Jackson, saying that he actually vouched for Michael Jackson's character. And Michael Jackson was actually not a CM like this lady was claiming he was. So, you guys, what do you guys think in the comments? You guys think this is a pretty wild story to me, considering it goes back this far to 2005 time frame? And, looking at it, if someone had made some slanted comments about my brother when it came to them being an actual politician, attorney general, and they wanted to say something along the lines of that if my brother was innocent, I would probably take that as a slant too. This is probably where Janet's comments stem from. And on top of that, I've seen stories ran to where they say, her brother is probably responsible for Janet being a Donald Trump supporter, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I'd call her a Trump supporter or not. I don't know. I don't know Janet Jackson. But, anytime anybody says anything about the Democrat candidate, it's just like the entire left side of politics just can't handle it. And it's just they immediately go on the defensive. I wish one day we could get to a point where everybody wasn't so just knee-jerk reaction to everything. I think that would be the best way for us all to be. I'm hoping one day we can maybe iron some of this out and not be so aggressive towards one another. You guys have a beautiful day. Take care. You watch your On Air with Nick Java podcast. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about Janet's comments on Kamala? And also, I'll say this, guys. You watch it On Air with Nick Java, the Nick Java podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. Get you some t-shirts in the YouTube shelf down below. Thank you, guys. Love y'all.